Hey there. Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown, the safe space where we set oppression ablaze and we know that something can, will, and must, something better can, will, and must arise from those ashes, guys. We are here to build a better society, one free from all the isms and the fuck shit that basically holds us back and holds us down and diminishes our true potential as humans on this planet to really be the best that we can be. So if we get rid of the systems of oppression, y'all, we can actually be free. I want to welcome you all. Thank you all so much. I'm seeing all the flame emojis in the chat. What's up, Toby Swoley? What's up, Northern Witch? What's up, Latif? What's up, Kev Z247? What's up, Big Teal? What's up, Shirley? Who else we got up in here? David Silberg's in the building. What's up, Craig Bardo? Did I say Northern Witch? Hello, sweetheart. Thank you all so much for swinging by and hanging out with your homie on this Good Friday. Guys, we've got a really good show for you today. Not first, but later in the program, of course, we focus on issues pertaining to labor here. We always stand with workers. Of course, it is still hashtag boycott Nabisco, y'all. Our Nabisco workers are still very much out there on strike in Portland, Aurora, Norcross, Georgia, Chicago, and Richmond, Virginia. So stand strong with the boycott Nabisco. I know you guys did not buy your kids. All y'all kids got Hydrox cookies in their lunch last week and they was pissed, but that's okay because we stand with workers. But you guys, in Buffalo, New York, Starbucks workers are beginning to organize themselves and trying to unionize themselves. And of course, Starbucks being a ginormous corporation who is uninterested in the well-being long-term, that is, of their workers, is doing what they can to subtly and not so subtly bust this union effort, this unionizing effort. So we're going to take a look at that. Also, do you like to drink bourbon? I know some of y'all like to drink that brown liquor. Well, in Kentucky, there is a distillery where hundreds of workers are now on strike, and it could be affecting some of your favorite liquors. So I know there's a long list of products that we are boycotting and not giving our dollars to because we are here to stand with the workers. So we're going to check in with those actions coming up a little bit later on in the show. The primary focus of today's show, guys, has to do with the issue of cops, defund the police, abolish the police. There's a myriad of reasons. And it seems as though daily, at least, police in America give us valid reasons as to why they do not deserve their multi-million, even in some instances for some police departments, billions of dollars that they get in state money, taxpayer dollars, because for the simple fact is these motherfuckers don't actually solve crimes. And when it comes to crimes of rape and sexual assault, that is where the police fall short the most. And that was on glaring display this week. If you happen to see the Olympic gymnasts, including Simone Biles, including Ali Raceman, including Michaela Moroney, gave extremely powerful testimony in front of a Senate Judiciary Committee about how the FBI fucked them over. I don't know how else to say it, to be perfectly honest. We're going to come back to that in just a bit, but I wanted to start off the program with a tidbit of good news. But before I get into the good news, really quick, let me just remind everybody that, of course, we would really appreciate if you have not already subscribed to the Burn It Down with Kim Brown channel, that you go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Chuck Diesel is in the chat right now, reminding everybody to hit them thumbs up and all that good stuff. And you can always support us in different places. Follow us on the internet, BIDWKB, at Facebook, at Instagram, patreon.com/BIDWKB. And we are offering a discount for anyone who wants to sign up to become a new patron. If you sign up as a new patron and enable your annual membership, like if you sign up and pay for the year all at once, we're giving you 15% off. Now, listen, you know, we have affordable tiers for our patrons as low as $2. So 2 times 12 is 24. So you can get 15% off of $24, and that would make you a annual subscriber, a diligent supporter of what we do over here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So if you're interested in that, head on over to patreon.com/BIDWKB and take advantage of that good discount that we're offering for our patrons, our new patron members. But guys, okay. So before we get into the terrible trigger warning, rapey sexual assault stuff, which is legitimate. We have to have these conversations. But I want to start us off with good news. There's good news. Good news. Okay, we have been following the Buffalo mayoral race because it is a good one, baby. Democratic Socialist India Walton captured the Democratic primary victory back in June, and the incumbent mayor, Byron Brown, who has been mayor of Buffalo for 16 long years, made an effort to do a write-in campaign. And in fact, I told you guys the last time we took a look at that Buffalo mayoral debate in which India Walton was dog walking them motherfuckers, that there was a couple of court cases pending to determine whether or not Byron Brown would actually get to have his name on the ballot. Well, there has been a decision. And if I'm saying it's good news, that means it's good news for India Walton, guys. Take a look at this package out of Buffalo, basically explaining what the court decision means for this Buffalo mayoral race happening in November.
And we begin tonight with the major news out of Buffalo today. Mayor Byron Brown's name will not be appearing on November's ballot because of a pair of court rulings earlier today. Good evening, I'm Scott Levin.
And I'm Mary Alice Demler. A state appellate court and a federal appeals court ruled against the mayor today, making India Walton the only one who will be on the ballot.
But things could always change with further appeals, as 2 on your side's Leanne Stuck reports now.
Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown suffered 2 losses in court today in his attempt to get his name on the November ballot, as he seeks a 5th term at City Hall after losing to Democratic primary winner India Walton. Thursday afternoon, the New York State Appellate Court ruled that states are constitutionally permitted to preclude candidates who lose one primary election from subsequently running on another ballot line. Then a short time later, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit issued a stay that invalidates the U.S. District Court Judge John Sinatra's September 3rd ruling that ordered the Erie County Board of Elections place Mayor Brown's name on the November ballot on a minor party line. Erie County Republican Elections Commissioner Ralph Moore said this latest ruling means Mayor Brown's name will not appear on the November ballots that start getting mailed out Friday. There could be further court action.
Today, the 4th Department in Rochester, the Appellate Division, heard the arguments on the case and reversed the lower state court ruling. And that decision was followed minutes later by a federal court panel sitting in New York City, where the 3-judge panel stayed the lower court decision, which ordered us to place his name on the ballot. So Mayor Brown's name will not be appearing on the ballots that we're mailing out tomorrow. Now, each of those decisions can still be appealed.
India Walton's campaign communications director, Jesse Meyerson, released this statement in part, saying we're thrilled that immediately after the 4th Department convincingly ruled in our favor on the merits of the case, the Second Circuit granted our motion to stay Judge Sinatra's order.
For India Walton, and this is great because amazingly, the court system seemed to have worked in this instant. Byron Brown didn't have no business being on the damn ballot. Why? Because he lost the goddamn primary, shorty. And, the Walton campaign had initially had misgivings, let's say, about Judge Sinatra. I wonder if there's any relation. Judge Sinatra's initial ruling that put Byron Brown on the ballot, but the federal court basically said, nope. That's not how that's going to go down. And some legal experts out of Buffalo think that this is going to be the end of the line for Byron Brown, that he really doesn't have a legal leg to stand on in order to get his name on the ballot for November. Now, in Erie County, in Buffalo, in Erie County, New York, the Erie County Board of Elections, they've already begun sending out the mail-in ballots to military members. So it was going to be a clusterfuck if the courts ruled in favor of Byron Brown, but thankfully they did not. They ruled for India Walton, basically, or ruled against Byron Brown, which de facto ruled in India Walton's favor. So India Walton, by most accounts, is going to be the only name on the ballot. I'm not too familiar with the ins and outs of how Erie County is running their elections, but if India loses, ladies and gentlemen and days, that should be an indication that, of course, the fuckery is afoot. And because who she is and what she's running for, the platform that she's running upon, I should say, we should expect some more fuckery. Like, I'm glad that this was a victory for India, but I already know that when it comes to Black women, when it comes to radical Black women, they change the rules. They will move those goalposts in order to exclude her, to diminish her, to neutralize her. So as much as you can, keep that support going for India Walton. If you know people in the Buffalo area, make sure that they are signing up to vote. Make sure they are registered to vote, because it's going to be a get out the vote effort. Her victory has to be overwhelming. I know apparently by the report, she's the only person on the ballot, but she has to have a commanding victory, period. Like, the turnout has to be good and everything needs to go in India's favor. So as much as possible, we're going to support India Walton, but I wanted to let you guys know that is a wonderful update for India. A good decision there from the courts, both federal and state courts. And I hope Byron Brown sits his punk ass down somewhere. Okay, guys, moving on. Started with the good news. Now we have to go to the not so good part of the show. But these are important conversations, guys, because, y'all know how old I am. I'm in my early 40s. And, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, it was extremely difficult for rape survivors and victims of sexual assault to come forward and share their story publicly. The most infamous incidents that I can sort of recall back, like from my childhood, I'm thinking about Mike Tyson's conviction for rape, and how the person that he was alleged to have raped or was convicted of raping, I think her name was Desiree Washington. She was a beauty contestant. I think it was like Miss Black America or Miss College Black America or something. And I just remembered how her name was just drugged through the mud, right? It was all kinds of, well, what was she doing in his hotel room at 2 a.m. and like all this sort of victim blaming when it came to rape survivors coming forward to tell their story and hopefully even getting justice, right? And this continues. Whereas I think I can't even say it's a safer environment for victims of sex assault and rape to come forward. It's not. It's almost easier to find them and harass them because of social media and because of the internet, right? People get doxxed, all kinds of crazy shit happen. Thankfully, we have come to a point where sometimes some accusers are held accountable. I'm thinking of Harvey Weinstein, but I'm also thinking of how many years and decades that Harvey Weinstein was allowed to abuse and rape young women unabated, right? With no accountability. And thankfully his ass is in jail now. But as we see with Bill Cosby, sometimes motherfuckers can get out of jail. You know what I mean? For reasons that have nothing to do with their guilt or their innocence, but for reasons, right? Because this is the court system, this is the American court system that we live in. Craig Bardo, thank you so much for your support, honey. I do appreciate that. But this week, guys, some of the Olympic gymnasts who were the victims of former U.S. Olympic team doctor Larry Nassar testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Why did they testify in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee? Because there was a report released perhaps either earlier this year or last year from the Office of the Inspector General, which found that the accusations against Larry Nassar that were made to FBI field agents in Indiana were ignored for many, many months. And during those many, many months, Larry Nassar abused about 70 more gymnasts. He didn't abuse those girls and young women 70 more times. He abused 70 more people after the FBI was made aware of his predatory and pedophilic behavior. Make it make some fucking sense, y'all. We're about to run some clips from this Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, right? And I was going to include clips from some senators, who gave very empathetic statements. Really giving the girls sympathy about, what they endured and how so many people let them down. But instead of taking up y'all's time with motherfucking John Cornyn and Sheldon Whitehouse and Dick Durbin and Marsha Blackburn, all these fucking privileged, lofted folks who are trying to get on the right side of political correctness. I don't know how else to say it, but sometimes, shit needs to be PC, right? Like, we should not be flippant about rape or accusations of rape. So of course, all these senators said all the right things, but I said, you know what, fuck that, because the statements made by Simone Biles and Michaela Maroney were extremely powerful and haunting. And I'm sure you saw excerpts of them that they ran on the news. Well, I'm gonna run some shit that I know they didn't run on the news. And what we're about to hear, first from Simone Biles, and secondly from Michaela Maroney. Now, Simone Biles was very emotional, not very, but she teared up, obviously, when recounting her trauma in front of Congress and cameras, millions in the audience, right? But I think Simone communicated the hurt and just utter disappointment, whereas Michaela communicated the anger and the fury and the rage at law enforcement after she disclosed to FBI agents, and she's going to tell you what they told them and what their reaction was. And guys, I'm going to keep it a buck. This is like 7 minutes, right? And trust me, I'm not just going to run shit for the sake of, sensationalizing, because this ain't no sensationalized shit. This is these young girls' trauma. And what you're about to see really is the courageousness of survivors. You know how fucking strong you got to be to get up in front of strangers, in front of the media, and recount some of the most intimate violations of your personal space that you've experienced. That's not easy. That's not attention seeking. That is hard as shit. So I want y'all to see the most courageous fucking shit you're going to ever see. These broads went to Rio. They went to Tokyo. These women are Olympic medal winners, national champions. But I'm sure what they did in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee was probably harder than competing in the Olympics by leaps and bounds. So settle in, y'all. This is 7 minutes, but it's a compelling, very compelling 7 minutes. First, we're going to hear from Simone Biles and then Michaela Maroney. Y'all check this out.
In reviewing the OIG's report, it truly feels like the FBI turned a blind eye to us and went out of its way to help protect USAG and USOPC. A message needs to be sent. If you allow a predator to harm children, the consequences will be swift and severe. Enough is enough. I will close with one final thought. The scars of this horrific abuse continue to live with all of us. As the lone competitor in the recent Tokyo Games who is a survivor of this horror, I can assure you that the impacts of this man's abuse are not ever over or forgotten. The announcement in the spring of 2020 that the Tokyo Games were to be postponed for a year meant that I would be going to the gym, to training, to therapy, living daily among the reminders of this story for another 365 days. As I have stated in the past, one thing that helped me push each and every day was the goal of not allowing this crisis to be ignored. I worked incredibly hard to make sure that my presence could maintain a connection between the failures and the competition at Tokyo 2020. That has proven to be an exceptionally difficult burden for me to carry, particularly when required to travel to Tokyo without the support of any of my family. I am a strong individual and I will persevere, but I never should have been left alone to suffer the abuse of Larry Nassar.
As most of you are probably aware, I was molested by the U.S. gymnastics national team and Olympic team doctor, Larry Nassar. And in actuality, he turned out to be more of a pedophile than he was a doctor. What I'm trying to bring to your attention today is something incredibly disturbing and illegal. After telling my entire story of abuse to the FBI in the summer of 2015, not only did the FBI not report my abuse, but when they eventually documented my report 17 months later, they made entirely false claims about what I said. After reading the Office of Inspector General's OIG report, I was shocked and deeply disappointed at this narrative they chose to fabricate. They chose to lie about what I said and protect a serial child molester rather than protect not only me, but countless others. My story is one in which Special Agent in Charge Jay Abbott and his subordinates did not want you to hear. And it's time that I tell you. In the summer of 2015, like I said, I was scheduled to speak to the FBI about my abuse with Larry Nassar over the phone. I was too sick to go meet with anyone in person, and talking about this abuse would give me PTSD for days. But I chose to speak about it to try and make a difference and protect others. I remember sitting on my bedroom floor for nearly 3 hours as I told them what happened to me. I hadn't even told my own mother about these facts, but I thought as uncomfortable and as hard as it was to tell my story, I was going to make a difference and hopefully protecting others from the same abuse. I answered all of their questions honestly and clearly, and I disclosed all of my molestations I had endured by Nassar to them in extreme detail. They told me to start from the beginning. I told them about the sport of gymnastics, how you make the national team, and how I came to meet Larry Nassar when I was 13 at a Texas camp. I told him that the first thing Larry Nassar ever said to me was to change into shorts with no underwear because that would make it easier for him to work on me. And within minutes, he had his fingers in my vagina. The FBI then immediately asked, "Did he insert his fingers into your rectum?" I said, "No, he never did." They asked if he used gloves. I said, "No, he never did." They asked if this treatment ever helped me. I said, "No, it never did." This treatment was 100% abuse and never gave me any relief. I then told the FBI about Tokyo, the day he gave me a sleeping pill for the plane ride, to then work on me later that night. That evening, I was naked, completely alone, with him on top of me, molesting me for hours. I told them I thought I was going to die that night because there was no way that he would let me go. But he did. I told them I walked the halls of Tokyo Hotel at 2 a.m. at only 15 years old. I began crying at the memory over the phone, and there was just dead silence. I was so shocked at the agent's silence and disregard for my trauma. After that minute of silence, he asked, "Is that all?" Those words in itself was one of the worst moments of this entire process for me. To have my abuse be minimized and disregarded by the people who were supposed to protect me, just to feel like my abuse was not enough. But the truth is, my abuse was enough, and they wanted to cover it up. USA Gymnastics, in concert with the FBI and the Olympic Committee, were working together to conceal that Larry Nassar was a predator. I then proceeded to tell them about London and how he'd sign me up last on his sheet so he could molest me for hours twice a day. I told them how he molested me right before I won my team gold medal. how he gave me presents, bought me caramel macchiatos and bread when I was hungry. I even sent them screenshots of Nassar's last text to me, which was, Michaela, I love how you see the world with rose-colored glasses. I hope you continue to do so. This was very clear cookie-cutter pedophilia and abuse. And this is important because I told the FBI all of this, and they chose to falsify my report and to not only minimize my abuse, but silence me yet again.
It's so heartbreaking to hear those young women recount what happened to them. And I am, first of all, extremely grateful that they had the courage to give this testimony, because they're not doing this for themselves. They're doing this for other young women and boys and non-binary people who are vulnerable, who are innocent, and who are targeted by sexual predators. Predators who sometimes have doctor as their prefix, right? Or sometimes have coach as their prefix, or parent as their prefix. Like, I hope that we are finally at a point where we would look at a person and be like, oh, Dr. Larry Nassar, he's a doctor. He couldn't be. No. Let's leave that naivete back in the 20th century, shall we? But Michaela, her fury, her rage is palpable, and it's so 100% justified. I don't think anybody could fault her at all for the anger that she was communicating in her testimony. And I love the fact that she was calling names. Did y'all hear Michaela? Michaela said Special Agent Jay Allen and his subordinates failed her. The U.S. Olympic Committee failed her. The U.S. Gymnastics failed her. The IOC, the International Olympic Committee, failed her. And she even went as far to say is that they all colluded with the FBI in order to protect Larry Nassar. Baby, does the evidence suggest anything otherwise? After Michaela disclosed to the federal agent, Nassar was allowed to stay in his role for over a year, still molesting girls, still molesting young women. And he was protected. And one of the gymnasts, I'm not sure if it was Michaela, or it might have been Allie Raisman, at this same Judiciary Committee testimony said, you know, I thought the police were here to protect us, but it turns out they were protecting the pedophile. So who exactly are they here to protect? Excellent question. Excellent question. Because when opponents of defund the police and those who oppose even considering abolishing the police, what is the first thing out their mouth? First or second thing out their mouth? Well, who you gonna call if somebody break in your house? Well, who you gonna call if you're raped? Well, nigga, who the fuck can people call right now? Because overwhelmingly in police departments across this country, it is very clear that women and men and non-binary people who make accusations of rape are largely not believed, even as far as evidence that they present. If women or non-binary or men present themselves for rape kits and rape examinations, the police, in all their infinite resources and endless overtime and bloated enormous police budgets, seemingly don't have the time nor the will nor the care to even bother to test rape kits. And this is an ongoing story that is prevalent in police departments across this country. I think Detroit had a very infamous cases, maybe thousands of cases of untested rape kits. And what is the message that sends to survivors of rape and sexual assault? That number one, that the police are not there to protect you because they are not interested in pursuing or even arresting or apprehending your assaulter, right? And it goes to show you that police are not here to believe you. Police they're not here to hear that rape shit. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because bitches be lying, I think is basically what it comes down to. And I don't even think that mentality or that mindset even changes much if the police officer or whoever's investigating the rape is a woman, because again, this is a culture, this is pervasive. And I believe, I would imagine that even woman police are trained to minimize accusations of rape because, you know, it's a lot of times it's a he said, she said, it's the girl having, you know, morning after regrets and walk of shame and all that shit. And it's like, so y'all don't give a fuck about crime. Y'all only are interested in apprehended niggas, basically. Oh, okay, I got you. I got some examples of this, guys. And for one, thank you all so much for these amazing comments in the chat. Miss Nori, what's good? What's up, Rain to Sud? What's good? Lady 747, what's good? Yes, y'all, this shit is bullshit. Liu Kang, what is up, y'all? Like, and let me apologize a tad bit to you guys because I know Michaela got very explicit in her description about what Larry Nassar did to her. Y'all needed to hear that. Y'all needed to hear that because that is wholly intricate to the whole of the discussion because rape is not just forcible penis and vagina. You understand? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of women and girls and maybe even men and non-binary folks who have experienced an unwanted fingering, right? At one point or another. And y'all know how I go. I'm profane. I'm not here to be vulgar, but I'm just here to call a thing, right? Like how many girls in middle school, how many girls in high school, how many women in college, or even young men or non-binary folks have experienced a level of sexual assault, but because it wasn't forcible penis in vagina or in a, you know, different place, they just hold that in. Right? They may not even perceive that as being assault. That is assault. What Larry Nassar, from what I understand, Larry Nassar didn't stick his penis anywhere. He was doing everything with his hands. And if you think that that's somehow not as bad as a forcible penis, you are definitely mistaken. Absolutely mistaken. But this, again, circles back to the fact that police don't keep us safe. Police are not even trying to protect what I would think would be valuable young women, right? These Olympic gymnasts. These women are world-class athletes, and the FBI could give a fuck. Oh, fun fact, who was head of the FBI when all of this happened? We saw at this judiciary hearing, the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, was there, and he was like, yeah, this is terrible. This is terrible. You know, I wasn't in charge at the time, but it's terrible. Y'all, do y'all know who was in charge of the FBI at the time? That Larry Nassar was sexually assaulting dozens, actually hundreds of young gymnasts, none other than James Comey. Comey's homies, the liberal fan, right? Everybody, all the liberals love James Comey because he talks shit to Trump. Well, guess what else James Comey did? James Comey was overseeing the FBI when Larry Nassar was abusing hundreds of gymnasts. His FBI was aware of it, and James Comey didn't do fucking shit. Now, the two agents out of the Indiana field office or the Indianapolis field office, one was fired. The other one took retirement. That ain't no fucking punishment. We know when cops get fired, what do cops do? Go to the next town and get them another job. Getting fired from a police department is not necessarily grounds for never being hired again in a law enforcement agency. This is just outrageous. But I gave y'all this example to show y'all at the very highest levels of law enforcement, the FBI does not keep people safe. Of course, I mean, this is all, yeah, I'm preaching to the choir. I know y'all know this. Y'all know this. But I know y'all encounter a bunch of ignorant asses in your everyday lives who ask the question, we can't defund the police. Well, they doing all the shooting right now. Shit is violent right now, nigga. The police are funded at the highest levels ever in history. And yes, they are out here shooting right now and shit is violent right now. And is the police doing anything to quell that? Is public safety enhanced at all when police budgets are ginormous? Absolutely not. Infinite Content, thank you so much for your support here, darling. Infinite Content says, as I have said many, many times, police exist to protect their own interests first, and then the interests of the elite, rich, and capital next. All cops are bastards. Facts, big facts, Infinite Content. Thank you so much for your comment and for your support right there, y'all. But as we saw that the FBI failed to protect these young women, enabled a serial pedophile, I think I just made pedophile a verb. Yes, I did. Allowed the serial pedophile to continue to pedophile hundreds of girls. Disgusting. But even in police departments in a city near you, I assure you, there are rape kits languishing, sitting untested, evidence in sexual assaults just going bad, cases that police could have easily investigated and perhaps even found an assailant and brought charges. No, these cases are going cold. Why? Because from the cops' perspective, bitches be lying. Bitches be lying. Tunde, we're going to go to that CARE 11 package next, guys. So, all right, in my research, and again, this is the easiest Google searches in the world, y'all. If you Google police untested rape kits, you will be appalled at all the shit that comes back, right? And this is a story from 2020 based out of Minneapolis. And so Tunde, did you pull that whole thing, or did you pull the time clipped portion of it? Okay, awesome. Well, it's 6 minutes. I kind of didn't want to play all 6 minutes of it. So if we could do the client time clip part, then let's do that. I'm gonna set it up for y'all. Okay, so this package you're about to hear, it comes from Minneapolis TV station. The station is called CARE 11. Now, every time they said CARE 11 in the package, I said, who is Carol Evans? Because I was mishearing CARE 11. So I don't want y'all to mishear CARE 11. They are not saying Carol Evans. They are saying CARE, K-A-R-E 11. Okay, CARE 11 did this package, this investigative piece from February of 2020. And we're only going to listen to like the second half of it. I'm going to set it up for you and tell y'all what was explained in the first half, because again, it's 6 minutes long, so I didn't want to take up that much time because we do have other things to get to. But the focus of the story has to do with either untested or destroyed rape kits by Hennepin County area police departments in and around the Minneapolis area. And they use an example of a man who is currently incarcerated on, I believe, some sort of felony assault. But this man has a long history with law enforcement of not only domestic violence, but he does have some rape accusations in his past. And they spoke with, and again, I use alleged, guys, because I was trained as a journalist. So when I say alleged or allegedly, don't take it as whether or not I believe somebody. I'm doing it because I'm a journalist, contrary to what motherfuckers may think. And I have to adhere to journalistic ethics, even if I am on my own platform. You feel me? I'm not going to be super incendiary and, just saying that nigga raped. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I don't know that. You feel me? So anyway, let me clarify that. So in this package, one of his alleged victims is interviewed. And this woman claimed that she went to this man's house. He raped her. She went to the police the next day, went to the hospital the next day, despite the fact that she didn't want to, because rape kits are invasive. Gentlemen, I don't know if y'all know what a speculum is, okay? But fellas, let me assure you, the speculum is not fun. No one likes the speculum, okay? It's like a tire jack for your vagina. The speculum is never fun, okay? And the least of all, I would imagine, if you are there trying to submit evidence because you were raped, right? I'm sure the last thing you fucking want is the speculum after you've been raped. Jesus. Anyway, police had ample opportunity to speak with this man. This man was even in police custody a lot, and they failed to collect his DNA and test his DNA against this woman's rape kit. And summarily, her rape kit was destroyed. So any opportunity that she had to pursue charges against this man went away. Why? Because the cops basically didn't believe her, despite the fact that she went to the hospital, despite the fact that she immediately made a report. And for all the motherfuckers, not y'all, of course, because I know y'all, we here, but for all the motherfuckers, when women come out years later, decades later, even sometimes, how come you ain't never go to the police? How come you ain't never call the police? How come you ain't never filed a police report? The fuck the police gonna do, nigga? The fuck are the police gonna do? The police show that they don't give a fuck about rape victims and victims of sexual assault. I don't know how many times they gotta show y'all that. Not y'all, of course, but I'm talking about the motherfuckers who be talking crazy about rape victims. Anyway, we're going to pick up this package, y'all. CARE 11 out of Minneapolis did an investigative piece about how rape kits containing DNA evidence were destroyed let me say it again, destroyed by police. Let's take a look at that, Tunde.
Our investigation discovered her case here in Plymouth is one of just hundreds across Minnesota where police destroyed untested rape kits.
It happened in Bloomington, Eagan, Woodbury. Brainerd police destroyed dozens of untested rape kits, including Michelle Johnson's.
All the hope I had was the one thing I had left is gone. And
killing her hopes of one day getting justice.
It breaks my heart.
Camille Cooper is VP of RAIN, the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization.
It's sort of a slap in the face to the survivors. It's also in direct contravention to the federal guidelines for the retention of rape kits.
These guidelines, enacted in 2017 by the Department of Justice, recommend rape kits from uncharged or unsolved cases be kept for 50 years. But when Carol Levin did a spot check, surveying 36 of Minnesota's more than 400 law enforcement agencies, we discovered 219 untested rape kits destroyed, 98 of them since 2017. In some cases, kits were destroyed only weeks after a rape was reported.
It's shocking.
State Representative Kelly Moeller is also a prosecutor.
It is very upsetting to know that these kits have been destroyed and really eliminating the chance for justice for these survivors.
Police agencies like Brainerd that are destroying rape kits defend the practice, saying it happens most in cases like Michelle's.
Suspect in the case said this sex was consensual.
No.
Police call them consent cases, where both parties say sex occurred, so DNA won't solve their case. But that misses the big picture, says Duluth detective John Barrett.
It's not just to solve your own case. It may assist in another agency across the country that does not know who their perpetrator is.
Barrett is reinvestigating cases after Duluth DNA tested more than 500 old rape kits. He's making arrests, including in consent cases, and 3 suspects have been charged with multiple sex assaults.
From what you guys have seen, should cities be destroying kits?
I would say no. No.
Minnesota lawmakers tell Carol Levin they're planning to introduce legislation next week to mandate kits from all reported rapes be tested. So victims aren't forced to wonder, was their kit tested or just destroyed?
And it makes me so angry. Like, it's not okay.
It's not okay. Big Teal, I see you. Big Teal said consent cases. Right. Who makes the determination what is a consent case? Is it the officer taking the victim's statement? Or when they speak to the alleged perpetrator and the perpetrator says, oh, it was consensual. Well, the rapist said it was consensual. So it must be fucking consensual. Molly sent me a question from the Twitter. Thank you so much, everyone who is watching us on Twitter. We certainly appreciate you. Chris Richards on Twitter says, do you think it could have anything to do with the amount of, quote, consensual sex cops have with people in their custody, of the fact that 40% of cops openly admit to beating their families? Chris raises an excellent point here, guys. And you'd be surprised or perhaps even not surprised by this, but in a lot of places, it is not against the law for police to engage in sexual activity with people who are in their custody. Now, make it make fucking sense, because if a person is in police custody or in state custody, they can't consent to sex. That's not how that works. But it's not against the law for police to engage in that. But oftentimes that is rape. That is sexual assault. And if the police are willing or even claim that they are receiving sexual favors in exchange for, more lenient treatment, nigga, that is coercion all fucking day and twice on Sunday. Make it make goddamn sense. Lateef, thank you so much for your support, darling. Lateef just broke us off with some change. I appreciate that, Lateef. Lateef said, thank you so much for bringing that fire to every story. LJ says, hello, what's up, LJ? And LJ, I know your daddy is teaching you all about consent. Affirmative consent. Affirmative consent. I was watching, I hate to even tell myself this way. God damn, my bad. But I watched Steve Wilkos. I'm sorry. I was watching Steve Wilkos. And today's show was pretty fucked up. It was all about this, actually. It was about consent. And if you're not receiving affirmative consent, gentlemen, that's not yes. You know what I'm saying? Steve Wilkos, the reason he brought up Steve Wilkos, because, one of the cases that he referenced on his program today had to do with a woman who was highly intoxicated and she was too drunk to consent. Her assailant came on the program and failed a lie detector test about whether or not she was too drunk to consent. And Steve Wilkos' response was, ladies, let this be a lesson to you about not getting sloppy drunk. And I said, motherfucker, missed the point. Could you miss the point even more if you tried? Steve Wilkos, no. Young women should be allowed to be out here, allowed to have fun. If they want to get fucked up, they should be able to get fucked up. But they deserve to not be taken advantage of when they're in a vulnerable state or a compromised state when they are not able to give consent. So really, it's about teaching these boys and these young men that it is not your goal to get pussy at any cost, okay? Like if your partner is not enthusiastically willing to have sex with you, you continuously asking her or him to have sex is not romance. It is not enticement. That is what you call coercion. Okay? If you got no once, nigga, the answer is no. Stop fucking asking. Anyway, I'm gonna simmer down. Maybe I shouldn't simmer down. It is victim shaming, Carmen. It is victim shaming all day. But circling back to how this is a police issue, right? Because we can agree, right? People who are murderers, and I'm talking about intentionally taking the life of somebody, not in defense of your own life, right? People who are child molesters or rapists are by far the most deplorable members of this society, right? And it baffles me that police seemingly are not interested in collecting child molesters and rapists and sexual abusers. Like, that's very low priority for police, is it not? Getting guns off the street. Yeah, let's get them guns off the street. Guns. Getting rapists off the street. Maybe, if we have time for it. Who knows? Let's see how we feel after lunch. Is the attitude that the police take. And guys, there's lots of instances of this. Tunda, if you could please, for me, could you pop up? That would be B2. Story from the New York Times. This is a little bit ago, but the stories about rape kits going untested is pretty much evergreen, guys. And let's not even get into the police labs like here in Washington, D.C., who have lost their accreditation because they was playing fast and loose with the fucking evidence. I believe there was even a problem with Baltimore City's medical examiner as well. But as you see here in New York, the problem was old rape kits tested. Old rape kits, guys. And this is what kills me, honestly, about this. I think about, hold on, I'm sorry. Let me get through that. Old rape kits finally get tested. Jesus Christ, 64 attackers were convicted. That was a point that was raised in the package from one of the detectives that said, even if the police seem to think that a case of alleged rape was a consensual case, if they don't test the DNA, then they will fail to find a serial predator, which indicates to me that the cause really of serial predators, serial rapists are the fucking cops, are the police. If the police were so good at their jobs, right, at least relative to the amount of public resources that they suck up, there shouldn't be a fucking rapist out here. You feel me? If the police were utilizing their budgets and their resources to actually track down rapists, then there would be a lot fewer victims out here, right? But men, I'm gonna say men. I know not all sexual predators are men, but the majority of them are, and you guys know that. I don't have to defend my men are trash perspective to y'all, because y'all know what time it is. And shout out to the men that are not trash, who never get offended when women say men are trash, because the men that are not trash know that we women are not talking about them, right? Like, those are my favorite men. I love y'all. Men, when I be like, men are trash, they be like, yep, men are trash. I'm like, yes, love you. Fucking love you, man. Yes, you know what time it is. Is that Ursula Baptiste breaking us off with some British pounds? Thank you so much, darling. Ursula says, great to hear a woman's perspective on a difficult issue. Baby, we don't hear enough from women. You know what I'm saying? Like, we hear so much from, women recounting their terrible tales, and we look at them sort of singularly and anecdotally, like, oh man, that's terrible that happened. But guys, when we look at well-known cases of predators and pedophiles, I'm going to throw R. Kelly and Bill Cosby out here because they the first ones, and Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, since I know people be like, why about the white ones? Okay, yeah, there's plenty of white ones. There's plenty. You don't have to look far to find a serial white male predator. They are out there, okay? But, R. Kelly and Bill Cosby are famous. So is Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. There's another one. If you get Discovery Plus, oh man, what was the name of that guy? He's a Canadian fashion magnate. And he's got a funny last name. Oh my God. But Discovery Plus has a documentary on him, and he is fucking Nygaard. Yeah, look that shit up. That motherfucker is terrible. Jesus. Anyway, the reason why these men are able to abuse dozens and sometimes even hundreds of women over the course of many, many years, even decades, is again because women are not believed by law enforcement, or survivors are reluctant to come forward because look at the treatment that they get. Look at the treatment that they receive from law enforcement, the people that are there to protect them. Look at what happened. Look at what the fuck happened to Michaela Maroney. This motherfucker go ask her all kinds of extra sideways questions, going to ask her whether or not Nasser sticking his fingers in her vagina was a helpful treatment. Nigga, kill this motherfucker with fire. Please douse him with gasoline and set him ablaze. I'm not meaning that literally because I know you two be out here tripping, but y'all feel what I'm saying, right? The police give us reasons daily that they should be defunded and or abolished. And the ongoing failure to pursue and prosecute and charge serial sexual predators is another reason why the police cannot justify their even existence, right? Let alone their massive budgets. Nigga, if you're not here to get rapists off the street, the fuck are you here for? The fuck are you even doing? The fuck is your raison d'etre? What is your reason to live, motherfucker? Like, and I'm sorry to be dropping all these sons of bitches to motherfuckers, but that mean I feel very personally about sexual assault and rape. And I understand, number one, how survivors are, I won't say disregarded, but yeah, disregarded. I think disregarded fits here. And the extent in which police are actually the predators themselves, right? Shout out to Taya Graham of the Police Accountability Report, guys. If you're not familiar or have not even subscribed to the Police Accountability Report, do me a favor. That's our people over there. Taya Graham, Stephen Janis, they do really good work. I mean, Tay and Stephen do really, really amazing things reporting on the fucked upness of the police. And Taya has done a lot of reporting about the way sex workers are treated by police. You know, their accusations of rape often go uninvestigated, uncharged, unprosecuted, and the police themselves prey on these sex workers also, but that also goes underreported, unprosecuted, unarrested, because the police hold the power. So never think, y'all, for a second that the police are out here to protect you, to protect the women in your life, to protect the children in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is clearly not part of their job descriptions. They are not here to get rapists off the street, despite of what they might tell you. So there's that. Where are we? Jesus, y'all let me talk about this for a long time. I appreciate it, though. Thank you all so much for your support. Yes, Noli D. Stephen is our Superman. I like Stephen and Taya so much. I can't even describe how much I like Stephen and Taya. And let me tell y'all, just to go a step further, for those of y'all who may not know who I'm referring to, Stephen Janice and Taya Graham, they are reporters over at The Real News. That's how I became acquainted with them. But they have their own channels called Police Accountability Report. They do amazing work. They did a documentary called The Friendliest Town that I believe was accepted to the Toronto International Film Festival, if I'm not mistaken. Noli D, do I have that right? So they do really good people-based work, y'all. So please, Police Accountability Report, please go subscribe to Stephen and Taya. And a personal anecdote, Stephen Janice has put his white male privilege on the line for yours truly. You want to talk about ally? No, that's not an ally. That's a fucking comrade, as Kalanji Changa would say. A comrade, Stephen Janice, comrade. So yes, anyway, guys, let me move along, because there's a couple of labor stories that I wanted us to get to that are extremely, extremely important. Running a smidge bit late on time, but I think we have enough time to get this in. So Buffalo, apparently we cover Buffalo, New York extensively now. And because a lot of interesting shit is apparently happening in upstate New York. And one of the more interesting things, beyond the fact that they have a Democratic Socialist running for mayor, who stands a very good chance of being mayor, possibly even the first Black woman mayor of Buffalo. But that socialist feeling is catching fire in Buffalo, as several Starbucks stores in the Buffalo area have began to organize themselves and have agreed to unionize. Now, this, of course, is not going unnoticed by Starbucks, a multi-billion-dollar company with extremely deep pockets, and who, very much like Amazon, not interested in allowing their workers to unionize. I wonder why that is. But I want us to take a peek at this clip from More Perfect Union, this outfit that does really good job of covering labor stories. They do amazing videography and storytelling in their clips. Of course, we played lots of More Perfect Union clips here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So I wanted us to take a look and take a listen from the Starbucks workers. How come I can't say Starbucks? Starbucks workers in Buffalo who are trying to raise their standard of living, raise their working conditions, raise their wages, and make it all good for the baristas and the coffee people who do a lot of hard work at Starbucks. Tunde, can we take a look at that More Perfect Union clip, please?
Right now, somebody who's been working at Starbucks for 15, 20 years barely makes anything more than somebody who just started last year.
The workers at my store who've been there 11 years are making 14 cents more than me after 11 years. If we can organize even one Starbucks, that would be labor history. There's no Starbucks out of 8,000 stores across the United States that has a union. Starbucks is a company that loves to say that we're more than employees, we're partners. So I think that creates an environment where people already expect a different relationship and a different power dynamic than what the reality is.
We're not just employees of Starbucks. I mean, we are Starbucks.
Being a Starbucks partner means everything to me. It's the connection, the people.
We want to be true partners. We want to sit at the table. We don't want decisions made for us. We want Starbucks to make good on that.
The day after we announced that we were filing, Roseanne Williams, the president of Starbucks North America, and her team came into Buffalo to try to come around to all the stores, listen to us, and start intimidating and union busting.
She's been at the company for 17 years and has told me she's never been to Buffalo.
She came into my store when I was working. I personally saw people pulled off the floor to talk to her. She came into the back room during my lunch break. She told me that the reason that she was in my store was to look at our dirty backroom carpet. I don't think that's on the president of Starbucks North America's actual to-do list.
She's been sitting in parking lots, coming with entourages of multiple corporate people from Starbucks. They have shut down my store in particular for deep cleaning.
The corporate presence is absolutely intimidating. Just to know that they're watching us.
Other stores announced that they were filing for union elections as well, joining the 3 initial stores. That shows that even though Starbucks is sending in their top corporate executives to try to dissuade workers and intimidate workers from organizing, those tactics are only making workers see how important it is to have a union and how the only time corporate even tries to respond is when we're unionizing.
If we're successful here, we have a real chance to change what it means to be a barista, change what it means to be a bartender, change what it means to be wait staff. We're seeing with this generation that we couldn't even begin to have a conversation about raising a family on the salary that we're being offered. I really hope that as we have success here in Buffalo and as that success moves outward to the rest of the country, that we are able to improve those outcomes across the board for everyone. So I'm really hopeful.
5 Buffalo area stores have agreed to organize, to unionize, and Starbucks sent in their big wigs to push brooms around and ask the partners, their employee partners, what's the problem, guys? Why do you think you want a union? Well, if you get the union in, then the union's going to do this, that, and the third. Yes, bitch, pay us more. Like the union, that is what the fuck the union is here to do. And shout out to Ms. Nori and Noli D, who reminded me, not that I had 100% forgotten, but thank you for the reminder of how Starbucks treated those young men in Philadelphia, I believe. The young guys who had come into Starbucks to handle business, use the Wi-Fi, do what a lot of people do in Starbucks, use it as an office. But it was a problem when the young black man came in here and did it. They called the police, made this motherfucking ass leave. Unbelievable. And then Starbucks had those diversity and sensitivity training. We're going to close all Starbucks stores for the next 48 hours to have diversity and sensitivity. And I go, all right, what the fuck ever. But speaking of labor actions, yes, who said it in here about stagehands? Who said it? Was it Gup? Gup said the stagehands are talking about striking and movie companies might strike also. Yep. And someone also reminded me, of course, about the ongoing strike of the Alabama coal miners, that their strike is now 6 months in. So yeah, y'all, workers are standing up. Workers are fighting back, striking back, I hope. And I wish that perhaps we could organize a general strike, to really get corporate America in fucking line. You feel me? Like, let everybody walk off. Now, truth be told, I think the teachers should be the ones to lead a general strike because, we saw what happened when school was shut down, right? And that wasn't even an intentional labor stoppage. It was having to do exclusively with the pandemic. But if teachers walked out, then all the other workers would be like, well, fuck it. I ain't nobody around to watch my kid. I might as well walk out of work too. So yes, we are all in favor of a general labor stoppage, labor strike here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown. But there's another labor stoppage happening in Kentucky. And if you consume bourbon, some of y'all might be some bourbon drinkers. I don't know. I thought we all weed heads. Aren't we all smokers? Aren't you guys stoners with me? I don't want y'all to be alcoholics. Alcoholics have it rougher than weed heads. Their bodies go through a lot more things than the stoners do. But it is. Hold on. I had it just here. It's the Heaven Hill Distillery, and this is in Kentucky, in Bourbon country. Thank you so much to Molly Shaw for bringing this to our attention. The good people at the Heaven Hill Distillery are on strike, 400 of them. And they are striking for a number of reasons. But I want us to hear first and foremost from one of the workers that are out there on the picket line right now, because you know how I feel about listening straight from the voices and the mouths of those most affected by these things. So let's hear from one of the striking workers at the Heaven Hill Distillery in Kentucky. And who are we about to hear from? We are about to hear from Betty Jo Boone. And let me tell y'all, Betty Jo ain't with the shits. She's absolutely not with the shits. And this clip came from Adam K. Raymond, who's a reporter for Spectrum News in Kentucky. They started their strike, I think, at midnight on September 10th. So they've been out of work about a week now. But this is what one of the workers at the Heaven Hill Distillery in Kentucky had to say, y'all. This is Betty Jo Boone. And like I said, Betty Jo is not with the shits.
We've taken care of them, especially during the pandemic. We worked here 7 days a week in both shifts, 20 hours around the clock. We pumped out bourbon out of here like Niagara Falls. We made them millions. They said they would take care of us come contract time, and they have not. We went to bat for them on many occasions, and they have not. I'm fighting for my family.
Fighting for her family, and of course the families of the hundreds of other workers who are also on strike. They are being represented by the UFCW, Local 23D, the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 23D. I think DSA is out there standing with the workers. And let me just give y'all a quick rundown of some of the brands that we need not support if we all bourbon drinkers. I don't know, nigga. I don't even know if I even had bourbon. I'm such a little baby when it comes to alcohol. Well, I'm not a little baby. I used to drink more in high school. I could drink way more in high school than I can now as a whole ass adult. But okay, bourbon brands to boycott. Guys, we are not fucking with the Cabin Still bourbon, the Echo Spring bourbon, the Elijah Craig bourbon, the Evan Williams bourbon, the Fighting Cock bourbon. Who the fuck? Which one of y'all is drinking Fighting Cock bourbon? Heaven Hill bourbon, Henry McKenna bourbon, JTS Brown bourbon, JW Dan bourbon, and other brands, including Admiral Nelson spiced rum, Anzac cognac, Arndas tequila, Aristocrat vodka / whiskey / gin / tequila, Bernher's original straight wheat. What is all this shit? Black Velvet Canadian whiskey, Black Heart premium spiced rum, and Burnett's Gin and Burnett's vodka, Christian Brothers brandy, Copa de Oro coffee liquor. That sounds good. I'm not going to drink it, but it sounds good. Coronet. I can't read. VSQ, Deep Eddy vodka, Debouchette, Debonnaire, Fulton's Harvest. Y'all do y'all Googles actually, because I do not think I'm going to read this entire list, but you get the gist. So Google Heaven Hill Distillery strike. And there are a number of places out there that have a complete list of the products that are made at the Heaven Hill Distillery and why you should not support them until Heaven Hill improves the working conditions and the wages of their workers, many of whom said that during the pandemic, they were deemed to be essential workers. And they showed up dutifully to churn out, as Betty Jo just said, to churn out that bourbon like it was Niagara Falls, baby. Y'all know how much alcohol consumption went up last year. So them people was working hard at that distillery. So we not fucking with Heaven Hill Distillery until they do right by their workers. So put that next to boycott Nabisco and fuck, what was the other one? Frito-Lay. Even though I know the Frito-Lay people went back to work in Topeka, Kansas, them people did not get a good deal at all. They really did not. So we might still be like, fuck Frito-Lay just off the strength because they didn't give their workers a good deal, despite the fact that they went out there and struck as long as they were able to. So guys, of course, here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown, we stand with workers. We are in solidarity with workers at all times. And we ask for y'all to be there too. What's up, Dr. Claus 77? I ain't seen your ass in a while. Y'all know who I haven't seen in a while? What's up, Steely Steve? What's up, Schultze 100? What's up, Franny French? I have not seen Black Magic and I have not seen Shanette in a while. So if y'all see Black Magic and Shanette out here in these YouTube streets, ask them, are we still good? Ask them, are we still good? How come y'all don't come hang out with Kim no more? So I be missing my people when I don't see y'all in the chat. So when y'all do show up, I appreciate it. And you know how we definitely are so grateful for all of the free support. Y'all showing up and watching the show, fine. That is brilliant. Giving us thumbs up, I love it. Subscribing, even better. If you want to support us materially, you can do that. $ BIDWKB at Venmo at BIDWKB, PayPal.me/BIDWKB, or you can break us off into super chats like so many people have done today, and I'm very appreciative. And of course, we're giving an annual membership discount, 15% off your annual membership at patreon.com/BIDWKB. And I know y'all be like, God damn, Kim, a whole year? Yeah, shawty, if we only charging y'all $2 a month, 2 times 12 is 24, and you get 15% off that. See, we're not trying to run your pockets. We just need a little bit to stay afloat. So thank you all so much for your ongoing love and support. Please don't forget, go over and subscribe to Black Power Media, because the amount of programming over there offered is fantastic. I believe tonight there's going to be a new Renegade Culture and or Riot Starter TV, so be sure to tune into that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a Warrior class tomorrow with Brother Belagoon at 1 p.m. over on Black Power Media. So support all the programming at Black Power Media. Thank you all so much who show up in the chat at the Remix Morning Show, which airs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Dr. Jared Ball, Mr. I Mix What I Like, Kalanji Changa, the Ear Doctor, Kamal Franklin, Jockey Luke Mon. A good time is usually had by all at the Remix Morning Show, and I appreciate you guys supporting both this platform and that platform as well. That's what's up. So thank you all so much for your patronage today. And guys, before I let you go, please don't forget that COVID is out here jumping on people. It is jumping on people like shit out here. So please take all the steps, all the precautions needed to protect yourself. Anna Hart, did I see in the chart in the chat that you got your shot? Good. Good. I'm glad. And I know motherfuckers want to have all kinds of diverging opinions about vaccines. Dog, just do what the fuck is best, man. And not best for you, best for society, best for your family, best for your community. If you have not gotten your vaccination and you have some sort of moral objection to it, man, then please wear a good fucking mask out here. Don't be out here running up to people, giving them hugs and kisses, and you know your ass ain't got no goddamn vaccination. No, I mean, I need y'all to be like extra on your P's and Q's if you're not vaccinated. And if you are vaccinated, be on your P's and Q's anyway, because breakthrough infections, right? We are absolutely living in a bizarro world situation when it comes to this pandemic and when it comes to the solutions for this pandemic. So please just don't be out here just being a whole super spreading asshole. That's all I can say. So COVID is out here jumping on people. I do not want it to jump on you. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, do what you got to do to keep you and your people safe. Guys, on behalf of Tunde and Male, we will see y'all back here on Tuesday. You guys are the best. Thank y'all so much for checking us out. Have a good weekend, everybody. See y'all later. Bye-bye.